All right, so I'm back with another how-to adventure. I have a BR600. I bought it used. It's worked pretty good, and it was still working good, but I was having some issues with the primer bulb. And what was going on is I replaced the primer bulb never worked when I bought it. You have to pull it all these times and stuff when you're out working. 90, 100-degree weather, you don't want to be pulling a machine 5 and 6 and 7 times to try to get it started. So I replaced the primer bulb, and it still wasn't working. I was mashing it, and there was no fuel getting in this part. And so I decided to take it the next step and kind of take everything apart. And what I found was they had these two lines here, they had them crossed up. So once I fixed it and reattached the primer to, which here's the old original carburetor, I took the top of it off. But the prime line, the line coming from the primer bulb, probably not using the right terminology, but anyway, when you're pumping the fuel, it's actually feeding into here, and it comes, a little bit of fuel squirts out of here and it squirts down into the carburetor, so it can prime or what have you in it, where you can pull it 1 or 2 starts. It should work on the first pull or what have you, but anyway, there's some debris, I guess, stuck down inside of here. So what I'm gonna do while I'm putting on this new carburetor, which I ordered off of Amazon, I'm going to make sure once I get everything set up, and before I attach the lines to the new carburetor, you want to make sure there's no trash or anything that maybe fallen down into the line while you were working. So you want to make sure you pump it up real good, get everything out, give it a chance to clear anything out of these lines before you attach it to your new carburetor, because you might end up running into the same issue again. All right, I'm gonna try to film this the best I can. I'm doing it with my phone, so bear with me. Another thing, I was able to get, I guess, a replica of the carburetor offline for a fraction of the cost. So you log on to Amazon, put in Stihl BR600, find you one that will fit that particular model. Now here locally in Georgia, if you go to like an Ag Pro or any of your local shops, they're gonna charge you, over $50 to get just the carburetor. And within this kit, I got the carburetor, as you can see. They also sent 2 new fuel lines that you can put in. Brand new spark plug, which I had already bought, fortunately. The gaskets, you get 2 gaskets, and you also get a filter for the line. So I say that's a pretty good deal for about less than 18 bucks, as opposed to 50 if you get it here in town. So I'm going to get started, and as you can see, I've taken everything apart, took the gas tank off. It's just to provide a better workflow. There's some of the stuff you guys may not have to take off of your machine, but I wanted to clean this up a little bit, since it was a used machine or what have you, get some of the dirt off of it, because I hadn't cleaned it or whatever since I've had it. So all right, so I'm gonna get started here. So first thing I guess we're gonna do is, and mechanics, don't beat me up too bad on the comments, because this is obviously what it is. It's a DIY. So I'm an amateur at this, but I'm pretty good with picking up on stuff. So get it set up here. So I did replace the filter. So believe it or not, this is a new filter. Just got a little smudge on it or what have you. So we should be fine, good to go there. All right, so we'll get the gasket. I don't even think it was a gasket on the back. Well, matter of fact, it wasn't a gasket on the back of the carburetor at all. So when I took the old one off, there wasn't a gasket at all on the back of it. So I'm gonna just be kind of trying to match this up to get it right. So this is the top here. I imagine this gasket goes on this side. Well, let's see here. Yeah, that looks like it goes on that side. And let's see if this one here goes. Yeah, there it is. This one goes on the back side. So carburetor fits and attaches. Y'all gotta bear with me. It attaches just like this. You know, you got your gasket, what have you, everything matched up. So what'll happen is you'll see the screws will feed into it and it will hold the gasket in place. You just kind of gotta wiggle it just a little bit while you're working everything into place. And once you get your screws and stuff pre-threaded, then everything will line up. Then you just kind of screw it on in from there. So what I did, I went ahead and got the lines and stuff attached, reattached the not reattached, but went ahead and popped the bulb onto the this piece here, so you can kind of have an idea. This line here kind of feeds out of the back, and on the sides you can kind of see how it runs down. You know, these wires here go attached to the fuel tank over there. This one here is kind of left hanging for now because this is the line that goes to the bottom of what's the new carburetor? Bottom of the carburetor. Well, I'm sorry, the back. So this particular line here affixes to right here. So it kind of feeds into the back here. But we'll attach all of that in a minute. This piece here obviously goes on to here, that particular line. All right, so take another break and get a couple more things set up. All right, so now this gasket, this thing set up. This particular gasket goes between this piece and the carburetor. And like I said, it's going to be hard to hold this while I'm telling you guys what's going on. I'll have a stand for this phone. But this goes between this piece and the carburetor. And there's another gasket that goes between the carburetor and this piece here. So you'll see that there's a hole on the bottom of this. So you just take that and line it up with that piece on the carburetor. Once you get the screws and everything in there, everything should line up. Let me flip this around. It's all a little bit different. But, yeah, there we go. So that's how that guy lines up. All right, so I'm gonna get my screws and stuff in, and we'll come back and get to the next part. I've got the screws, 2 screws that go in. As you can see, I got the gasket in between there, and it's kind of holding everything together. There's a line, this main line that feeds from the primer bulb into this top piece here. There's a line that's going to have to be attached. You know how well you guys can see that. But there it is. You might have to get a pair of needle nose pliers to attach it. You could go ahead and attach it now. In my opinion, I don't see why you couldn't. And this particular line that's sticking up right here is going to go right here. So you may be able to go ahead and attach that too, and go ahead and get that out the way. So I think that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. Then we'll come back. Okay, so I don't mean to be redundant, but I got everything on here. I got the gasket number 1 between this plate here that holds the air filter and the carburetor. Gasket number 2, it looks like it's trying to come out, but screw may have fell out when I walked away. Let's see, no, it's still in there. Okay, so that's gasket number 2. So this whole entire piece is going to fit on here. Okay, there's another line that needs to be put on, which is right there. You can take a pair of needle nose pliers and put that particular one on. It's gonna be a little difficult for me to probably wiggle this. Well, I might be able to do it. Let's see. There's a hole right here that this piece slides into. Is right behind where this line is. That's coming from the coil. So you can just kind of work it into that place there at the bottom. So you'll see how it fits in and through there. It's pretty nasty in there. I need to clean that up. Then you come on the top, work the top piece on. You want to make sure your screws are lined up as well. Mine are not really lined up. So this part up here has to pop onto there too as well. So work that on. Make sure that bottom piece is in check, which is in there. There's another piece that goes with the screw that goes onto there. I know you guys didn't see me disassemble this, but there's a little round silver piece. I think this is it right here. Either one of these. There are 3 that goes in the back of this. So whatever one that does not match those 3 is the one that goes in here. But I'll show you how to put that on in a few seconds. All right. So we are going to take our drill bit, and I'm just going to take it, put it in here and twist it by hand to try to get the screws going. Alright, so let's see. I have to reach up here and turn this little piece into place. Okay. We have it. Alright, so I have to work that back up on there in a second. You'll find that while you're working, sometimes, you know, stuff pops off, and you know, you just gotta grab and put it back on there. So probably can't see, but I'm working the second screw down here in, and I'm just trying to tighten it up by hand for now, then make sure I got everything on there. One thing that I did not attach is the gas line, which is hanging here. We're gonna need that to be attached, or else ain't nothing gonna happen. So doing too much at one time here, and it's not a hard thing to attach. It's more harder trying to keep it on there while you're working it up, working this piece back on. So, let's see. Well, that should be good. Let's see. All right, so might just need to, well, I don't have to take it all the way off because, okay, I'm glad I saw that gasket fell off. I had to take it back off anyway. All right. So what we want to do is we want to take this line. It's actually supposed to fit in here. Matter of fact, you can start top down. So the part here moves. Get that into focus. All right. Hard to hold the camera steady. Okay, you want to slide that piece down into there. Okay. Then the only thing you do after that is you want to take this piece, take a piece, pop it into place. You gotta get it down low enough. Just kind of stick it right in there. Well, I've got it on the wrong one. Right here. That's where it needs to be. Okay. And take the other part, take your thumb or whatever, and pop it on into place. But that's how it's supposed to look at the end. Sound like I just dropped the screw, but all right. You guys a good look at that. Well, if I can get it in focus, okay. That's how it's supposed to feed in. You got your lines and everything together. So there went the second screw. All right. Let me find the other screw. Max is down here taking a nap. Okay, the other screw fell down up underneath here. All right. So we're gonna refeed the screws in and put this gasket back on. Then we'll come back. Okay, I was able to successfully get the screws here pre-tightened. Like I'm gonna repeat it again. There's a gasket between this piece and the carburetor. There's a gasket between the carburetor and this main part right here that feeds the gas into the actual engine. There's some different places this thing here is attached to. Screw goes here. One goes up top and another one down here on the bottom. The only other thing that needs to happen right now at this point is for me to go ahead and tighten this down and get these lines here attached to the actual gas tank. I'm gonna have to put some fuel in here because I dumped it all out yesterday. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing here tightened down, and we'll come back, get the fuel lines attached, and go from there. We shouldn't be that far from getting this guy cranked up. All right, guys, I got the two lines reattached. What you may end up having to do, and I had to do this, is if you're not sure on which line is suctioning, only thing you got to do is put your finger over whatever line you're testing before you attach it there, and pump, the primer bulb simultaneously. And once you take your finger off the one that's suctioning, then you'll kind of hear the air suction. The one that's not suctioning, of course, air will be coming out of it, so you can just kind of test that out. But the one that the bottom line is the one that pulls the fuel. So you want to put the one that's suctioning on the bottom. because there's two places you can put hoses at on here, on lines on, and you want to put the one that's suctioning on the bottom. All right, so all we have to do now is there's some screws up underneath the bottom where you can see that orange deal that that needs to go in, and I've got to reattach this back to the bottom. It's just two screws up underneath here that go straight up, and screw goes here and up under here, and that's basically it. Then we'll be back. So I put the air filter cover back on, as you can see here. It's the only other thing that I've done. Yeah, go ahead and put this piece on first before you put the gas tank on, because I mean, you can put this on with an extended screw, extension or whatever, but if you don't have one, you know, you don't want to be fighting to try to get the screw past the gas tank once it's on to put the back on, when you can just put the back on first, then put your pull cord back on after that, then put your gas tank on last, because that's what I'm getting ready to do here. All right, so got everything reassembled. As you can see, the primer bulb is full of gas now, so that's a good sign. So we're gonna give it a pull. I already pre-primed it, and see what we got. Sounds pretty good. Might need a little bit more of adjustment just on the throttle, but I think we good otherwise. Greenfields Lawn Care.